Emily, a go-getter real estate agent, thrived on challenges. Selling properties was her game and closing deals her victory. One day, a peculiar listing landed on her desk. The Ashcroft House, a grand Victorian mansion with a notorious past. It had stood vacant for years, shrouded in unsettling tales and local whispers. Emily saw an opportunity, a chance to make her mark. The house, though steeped in eerie folklore, was an architectural masterpiece. Its potential, she believed, outweighed the ghostly rumours. Determined, she dove headfirst into the challenge, ready to face whatever secrets lurked within those weathered walls. Emily, a woman of logic and reason, scoffed at the tales surrounding the Ashcroft house, dismissing them as mere folklore. Ghosts and ghouls were mere fabrications, figments of overactive imaginations, she thought, nothing more. She approached the house with a healthy dose of skepticism, her mind firmly grounded in reality and facts. The stories, she reasoned, were probably spread by rivals, jealous of the property's potential and value. Armed with her wit, her trusty flashlight, and a pepper spray canister, just in case, she was ready to debunk the myths surrounding the mansion. The house, to her, was just another property, waiting to be brought back to life and restored. The air grew heavy as Emily approached the Ashcroft house. A blanket of silence hung over the property, broken only by the rustling leaves and the distant cawing of crows. The house loomed over her, its once bright facade now weathered and grey, stained with years of neglect. As she stepped onto the porch, the floorboards groaned under her weight, as if protesting her arrival. The air inside was stale and thick with the smell of decay, a testament to years of abandonment. Despite her initial skepticism, a shiver ran down her spine, a primal instinct warning her of something amiss. Section 4. Whispers in the Dark. Emily explored the house room by room, each one echoing with an unsettling emptiness. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay, making her feel as though she was stepping back in time. Every creak of the floorboards beneath her feet seemed to amplify the silence, creating an eerie symphony of sounds that set her nerves on edge. Dust motes danced in the faint slivers of light that pierced through the boarded-up windows. The light, though weak, provided a small comfort in the otherwise dark and foreboding atmosphere. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing softly through the cracks and crevices. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the sound of her own footsteps and the beating of her own heart. Each step she took seemed to echo endlessly, reverberating through the empty halls and rooms. The old wooden floors creaked under her weight, adding to the sense of unease that enveloped her. As she walked, she thought she heard whispers, soft murmurs, that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. The whispers were faint, almost imperceptible, but they sent chills down her spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that unseen eyes were following her every move. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. She felt a cold shiver run down her spine, a primal response to the unknown. Her instincts screamed at her to leave, but curiosity and a strange sense of duty kept her rooted to the spot. She paused, listening intently, but the whispers faded as quickly as they had come. The silence that followed was even more oppressive, pressing down on her like a physical weight. She strained her ears, hoping to catch another sound, but there was nothing. "It's just the wind," she muttered to herself, trying to rationalize the eerie sounds. But deep down she knew that the house held secrets that were waiting to be uncovered. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lay ahead, and continued her exploration. Section 5. The Locked Room. The house seemed to hold its breath as Emily ventured upstairs. The floorboards creaked ominously beneath her feet, and the shadows seemed to deepen, stretching out like grasping claws. She came to a door at the end of the hallway, its paint peeling, a heavy padlock securing it. Curiosity gnawed at her. What lay hidden behind that door? Why was it locked? The whispers seemed to intensify, urging her to find the key. A strange compulsion drew her to the room, a feeling that whatever secrets the house held were hidden within. Section 6. Mirror, Mirror. Emily found the key on an ornate silver keyring, lying abandoned on a dusty vanity table. The room was filled with an eerie silence, the kind that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. She hesitated for a moment, her fingers trembling as she picked up the key. It felt cold and heavy in her hand, as if it held the weight of countless secrets. Her heart pounded as she fitted the key into the lock and turned. The sound of the lock clicking open echoed through the empty house, amplifying her anxiety. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself before pushing the door open. The door creaked open, revealing a dusty old nursery. The room was frozen in time, with cobwebs draped over forgotten toys and a rocking chair that seemed to move ever so slightly. It was as if the room had been waiting for her, untouched and undisturbed for years. A chill wind swept through the room, sending a shiver down her spine. The air was thick with the scent of decay and neglect, making it hard to breathe. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to ward off the cold that seemed to seep into her very bones. Her eyes were drawn to a large, ornately framed mirror standing against the far wall. The mirror's surface was clouded with dust, but she could still make out her reflection. It seemed to beckon her, pulling her closer with an almost magnetic force. As she approached it, she saw a figure reflected back at her, a spectral silhouette standing behind her. The figure was faint, almost translucent, but its presence was undeniable. Her breath caught in her throat as she stared at the ghostly image. She whirled around, but there was no one there. The room was empty, save for the dust and shadows. Her heart raced as she turned back to the mirror, hoping that the figure had vanished. The reflection, however, lingered for a moment longer, a haunting smile playing on its lips. It was a smile that seemed to know all her fears and secrets, a smile that promised both danger and revelation. She couldn't tear her eyes away, trapped in the gaze of the spectral figure. Section 7. Trapped. Panic welled up inside Emily as she realized the truth. She had come to the Ashcroft house seeking answers, but now she was ensnared in its dark embrace. The walls seemed to close in on her, the air thick with an oppressive silence. She wasn't alone in the Ashcroft house. The creaking floorboards and distant whispers hinted at unseen presences lurking in the shadows, watching her every move. It was then that the house began to change. The once familiar rooms twisted and morphed into a nightmarish labyrinth, each corner hiding new terrors. The air grew colder, the whispers louder, more insistent. They seemed to call her name, beckoning her deeper into the house's sinister depths. The shadows seemed to come alive, twisting and turning, blocking her every exit. They danced on the walls, creating grotesque shapes that filled her with dread. She ran, her footsteps echoing in the silent house, but every turn led to a dead end. The house seemed to mock her, its layout shifting to keep her trapped. The house held her captive, its grip tightening with each passing moment. She could feel its malevolent presence, a dark force that fed on her fear. As the last vestiges of daylight faded, Emily knew she was trapped, ensnared in the web of the Ashcroft house's sinister game. Her fate was sealed within its haunted walls, and she could only hope for a miracle to escape its clutches.